Don't you think that is a strange phenomena that you are incredibly obsessed with self, but you don't think so? You don't, do you believe the not thinking so is not part of self? Of course it is. Do you think that's a clear, authentic recognition? I don't think so. No, it's part of the problem. Yeah. We believe the problem is an action and then we are the reaction. No, the reaction is also the problem. It's self reacting to self. Don't you see it? When you're in that 24-day program and you're thinking you should leave, that's not you. That's self's reaction to self. Yeah. When you just came out of jail because you got loaded the night before and you're going to get loaded today, that reaction is not yours. That's a reaction of self to the consequences of a life run on self. Yes? The problem and you are synonymous. You never recognize the problem. You recognize consequences, right? I did not know what drove me to jail. I recognized I was in jail, but I had no idea how I actually got to jail. Yeah? So I'm blind to that. So my reaction to being in jail is coming from the same fucker that brought me to jail. Yeah. And you're apt to do the exact same thing that got you in jail 2 nights before when you get out. Where are you? You are driven in all of that situation. Yes? Where are you? See, the greatest way to be driven is to convince that which is driven that it's the driver. It's the most incredible domination of all. The person thinks it has power when it has no power. So it's not questioning shit. Yes? So the part of being the driven, you feel like you're the driver. And yet, when you end up in the same 3 parking spaces where millions of us end up, institution, jails, and death, the stubbornness of this delusion, which you just said, clouds the situation. Yeah. And we think if we get back in front of the, into the car, behind the wheel, we'll end up at a different place. No. And you're completely surprised when you park again at institution, jails, and death. You don't understand. You're not the driver. Part of being driven is you believe you're the driver. That's how it works. Yeah. If you, if you were driven and you saw the driver as foreign, a possibility would arise. I could be free from this driver. Yeah. But if the driven and the driver are the same, you just have to go to driving school. And you try to change the habits of the driver. Yet you're gonna be driven to the same places. You just may get there faster without as many accidents as before, but you'll end up at institution, jails, and death. Inevitably, right? I'm the driven and the driver. No. Yeah. This is how it sets us up. So the consequences of the driven, who owns those consequences? The driver. Yes? But the driver is the driven. So the real driver goes unseen because you play both roles, don't you? You play the role of that which is driven, and you also play the role of the driver. How's that working for us? I can't believe where I drove to last night. Yeah, because you didn't drive. You were driven. I can't believe I keep doing the craziest freaking thing over and over again. Yes, because you're not the driver. You're the driven. Yeah? I'm going to go to the most expensive driving school, aka rehab, somewhere in Arizona for 40,000, and I'm going to learn how to drive better. Yes. I can be a good driver. I really believe it. Isn't that the major delusion? If I could only manage better, in this case, if I could only drive better, I wouldn't end up in all these places. And there's tons of driving schools. There are. Yeah. Tons of driving schools. And they all use AA, and AA doesn't get any fucking money from them. Tons of driving schools to make better drivers. You're not a driver, you're driven. Yeah, tell the truth about the driver, and I humbly believe you'll stop being driven by it. Yeah? Yeah. You won't have to spend all this money on a super duper driving school. You'll stop being driven by it. Yeah? Good old simple AA may be more than enough. Seriously. Yeah? Put $2 in the basket. Increase, put $3. Some of these places, it's costing you $100 for a minute or something to be there. It's freaking crazy. Yeah. They're all just, oh, you can be a good driver. Keep your eyes on the road. That's the problem. You're not seeing shit. You don't even know when you're going to hit a fucking giant catastrophe. Yeah. So, all right, sorry. I'm going to stop in a little bit. I'm just enjoying it. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. So here. Oh, here we go. And they arise out of ourselves, and the alcoholic is an extreme example of self-will run riot. Though he usually doesn't think so. Above everything. Now, you can't get higher than that, yeah? Above everything. What? Come on, tell me. Above everything, we alcoholics must be rid of this selfishness. All right. Yes. Must be rid of this selfishness. We must, or it kills us. What makes that possible? They call it God. You can call it whatever you want, as long as it's not you. Yeah? So God makes that possible. And there often seems no way of entirely getting rid of self without his aid. You're not going to get rid of self as self. I'm just humbly telling you. Yeah. And if it says we must or it kills us, and there often seems no way of entirely getting rid of self, there says there's a possibility of entirely getting rid of self, though. Yeah? They're not saying there's no possibility to that. They say there may be no way. Where is this? And there often seems no way of entirely getting rid of self without his aid. So basically, the spirit's condition is the way to get out of self. Why? Because the self of origin is in the mental condition. Yeah? And so what we're going to do is admit the failure of relying on the mental condition, and then do a way of life that shifts that into relying on the spiritual condition. Yeah? Simple. Yeah? Not trying to rehab the failed system, but to move from the failed system to a new system. Has anything to do with the old system. It's a new one. That's why it says you're going to have a new happiness and a new freedom, a new attitude and a new outlook, yes? It's not going to be a rehab or revamping the old system. It's admitting the failure of the old system, which is self-reliance, and doing these simple things that are going to provoke a migration of your faith in self to the faith in the infinite. Yeah, join us, because we're all in that migration. Yeah, it doesn't matter who's the first bird or the last bird. All of the birds are moving in one direction, right? You don't see the last bird going the other way. They're all moving, so it doesn't matter. That's the migration of interest. And we're losing interest in self and gaining interest in life and what we can contribute to it and all that. Yeah? We're all in it. We're all pointing the same way. We're the sail, it's all set, the wind's blowing it in one direction. Yeah? Now you may get, texts, a radio show from the old power, yeah? But hopefully, if you start listening to the old power, do what we do. Call someone else, go to a meeting, yes? Distract it, do not follow it no matter what, and it will break. And then you'll be in this, there's a point in the migration where the gravity changes. Now you've broken out of the gravity of the old power, and now you're really surfing the gravity of the new power. Yeah, it's pulling you. You're not swimming towards it, it's pulling you with no thought or effort on your part. Yes? Hallelujah. So it says here, baby, we must or it kills us. Wow, God makes that possible. And there often seems no way entirely getting rid of self without his aid. Many of us had and still are, many of us had and still have moral and philosophical convictions galore, but we could not live up to them, even though we would have liked to. That sounds like something running the show is not you, eh? You like to do it, but you can't do it. What's inhibiting that? Yeah. If a driver likes to go somewhere, but it can't go, means something is either wrong with the car or there's a mistake with the car and the driver. Yeah. And maybe the car thinks it's the driver when it's actually the driven. Wow. Okay. That would be helpful to get cleared up, eh? We're not even close to a self-driving car, but we actually are the self-driving car. Aren't we? If you look at it, we are the original self-driving car. Have you seen them when they're on the road and they stop for 20 minutes at a stop sign? Yeah, it sounds like us. So we're the original self-driving car. All the data of our fucking wrecked lives, I hope, is going up to some fucking mainframe where they'll be able to download this in the future and save a lot of people a lot of trouble. I hope. I hope it's open. But basically, the story of the first self-driving car ended up being a car driven by self. All right, so here we goes. Neither could we reduce our self-centeredness. This is very important, literally. Neither could we reduce our self-centeredness much by wishing or trying on our own power. Yeah? Wow. That's a pretty good observation. That could save us a lot of time and trouble. We had to have God's help, or whatever you want to call it, Spirit's help, yeah? So when does this program turn into a self-improvement program? It only happens in the head. The program is a reliance on a higher power program. That's what it is, I feel, yeah?